This is DD India and you're watching Express News, a program where we bring you top 100 news of the day. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Let's begin. India's global outreach on Operation Sindoor has reached its final leg. While 5 out of the 7 all-party delegations returned to India, the other 2 delegations are engaged in high-level discussions to strengthen India's fight against terrorism. In the last leg of its visit, the all-party delegation led by Member of Parliament Shashi Tharoor met bipartisan co-chairs of India Caucus in the House of Representatives Ro Khanna and Rich McCormick and vice co-chairs Andy Barr and Mark Vesey in Washington DC. The delegation briefed the caucus members on cross-border terrorism faced by India and India's strong and resolute stance in the fight against terror. The congressman expressed unequivocal and bipartisan condemnation for the terror attack in Pahalgam. The delegation was warmly received at the United States Capitol by a bipartisan group of senior U.S. senators, including leading members from the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Senate Intelligence Committee, and the Senate India Caucus. The parliamentary delegation discussed the success of Operation Sindoor, laid out details of Pakistan-sponsored cross-border terrorism and outlined India's firm resolve to appropriately deal with any such future incidents. Members of parliamentary delegation also had a constructive meeting with the chairwoman of the House Republican Conference, Lisa McClain. Another all-party parliamentary delegation led by Member of Parliament Ravi Shankar Prasad visited the European Parliament in Brussels, where it engaged with the members of the European Parliament, the Committee on Foreign Affairs and the Committee on Security and Defence. The delegation briefed members of the European Parliament in detail about the cross-border terrorism directed against India, including the recent heinous attack in Pahalgam, as well as Operation Sindoor and India's policy of zero tolerance towards terrorism. Upon return, members of all the all-party delegations have started meeting External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar in the national capital. The minister met the all-party delegation led by Sanjay Jha that visited Japan, South Korea, Singapore, Indonesia and Malaysia. India's External Affairs Minister also interacted with the all-party delegation led by Kanimuri Karunanidhi that visited Russia, Latvia, Slovenia, Greece and Spain. 7 delegations visited several countries to address audiences and policymakers and elected representatives on India's position on Pakistan's decades-long promotion of terrorism. To mark the World Environment Day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi led a special tree plantation drive in New Delhi. He planted a banyan sapling, which is a part of the Aravali Green Wall project. Prime Minister Modi also flagged off 200 electric buses under Delhi government's Sustainable Transport Initiative, promoting clean urban mobility and symbolizing the nation's collective responsibility towards ecological balance. Prime Minister Modi also planted a Sindoor sapling at his New Delhi residence. This was gifted by women who showed courage in the 1971 war during Prime Minister's Kutch visit. It symbolizes gratitude and environmental commitment. Prime Minister Modi shared a video on social media calling for deepening efforts towards protecting our planet and overcoming the challenges. He also complimented all those working at the grassroots to make our environment greener and better. Prime Minister Narendra Modi celebrated 11 years of NDA governance, marking his 3rd term's first anniversary. In a video on X, he highlighted poverty alleviation with schemes like PM Awas Yojana and Ayushman Bharat uplifting 25 crore people globally. On NDA's 11th anniversary, Prime Minister Modi shared a video on X showcasing schemes like Jan Dhan Yojana and Prime Minister Ujjwala Yojana. These initiatives enhanced banking, healthcare and housing access, transforming lives and ensuring transparency via direct benefit transfer. Prime Minister Modi also emphasized empowerment and rural infrastructure in a video on X, which highlighted schemes like Ayushman Bharat and digital inclusion and how they have lifted 25 crore people from poverty, aiming for an inclusive, self-reliant India for all. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Jammu and Kashmir on June 6th to inaugurate the Chenab Rail Bridge, the world's highest railway arch bridge at 359 meters. Prime Minister Modi will dedicate the 1,315-meter Chenab Rail Bridge, an engineering marvel 359 meters above the river. Vande Bharat trains on this bridge will connect Katra to Srinagar in just 3 hours, enhancing regional accessibility. At Nor Shipping 2025 in Oslo, India showcased maritime tech advancements. Engaging with global innovators, the focus was on sustainability, partnerships and Make in India, reinforcing India's commitment to maritime progress. India will host the 4th meeting of the India-Central Asia Dialogue in New Delhi on June 6th. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will host the foreign ministers of the Republic of Kazakhstan, the Kyrgyz Republic, the Republic of Tajikistan, Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan. India added 2 more wetlands, the Khichan in Phalodi and Minar in Udaipur, to the Ramsar list of wetlands of international importance. India's total count of Ramsar sites now stand at 91, the highest in Asia. Operating along India's extensive 11,000-kilometer coastline, the Indian Coast Guard safeguards critical ecosystems including coral reefs, mangroves and nesting beaches that support coastal biodiversity and livelihoods. In business, the Indian equity indices ended higher today, with Nifty at the National Stock Exchange ending at 24,750. At close, the Sensex added 444 points at 81,442. About 2,187 shares advanced, while 1,643 declined and 146 shares were unchanged. The Indian rupee ended 11 paise higher at 85 rupees 79 paise against the US dollar on Thursday versus Wednesday's close of 85.9 rupees. In the energy market, Brent crude closed down 77 cents or 1.2% at $64.86 a barrel. US crude settled 56 cents or 0.9% lower at $62.85 a barrel. Gold hit $3,380 per ounce and silver $34.53 per ounce on Thursday as weak US data fueled Fed rate cut bets. The British fintech company Wise announced Thursday plans to switch its primary stocks listing to New York from London, noting that the United States provided its biggest market opportunity. Meanwhile, the US trade deficit more than halved in April. Government data showed on Thursday, pulling back from a record as President Donald Trump's global tariffs kicked in. Investment in clean energy technologies is set to strike a record this year despite global economic uncertainty. Double the spending on the fossil fuels that will dip for the first time since 2020, as per the International Energy Agency. US President Donald Trump signed a new travel ban on Wednesday targeting 12 countries, including Afghanistan, Iran and Yemen, reviving one of the most controversial measures from his first term. The move bans all travel to the United States by nationals of Afghanistan, Myanmar, Chad, Republic of Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan and Yemen. It will come into effect on June the 9th. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz is set to meet with US President Donald Trump on Thursday, hoping to build a personal relationship despite discord over Ukraine and the threat of a trade war. Russia has banned the British Council as an undesirable organization as Moscow branded London the architect of global crisis and the instigator of wars. Russian President Vladimir Putin is ready to help resolve the standoff between Iran and the United States over Tehran's nuclear program, as per Kremlin. Kremlin has also said that Moscow will decide how and when to respond to Ukraine's attack on its air bases, confirming that Russian President Vladimir Putin told his US counterpart Donald Trump that Russia would retaliate. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said on Thursday that the bodies of 2 Israeli Americans killed in Hamas's October 7th attack and held in Gaza had been returned to Israel. UNSC members criticized the United States on Wednesday after it vetoed a resolution calling for a ceasefire and unrestricted humanitarian access in Gaza, which Washington said undermined ongoing diplomacy. China's foreign ministry has vowed to resolutely safeguard the legitimate rights and interests of its overseas students after US President Donald Trump's 6-month ban on foreign students enrolling at the Harvard University. US Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth said on Thursday that NATO allies are very close on committing 5% of their GDP to their defense spending. New Zealand's parliament agreed on suspensions for 3 indigenous lawmakers who last year performed haka, a traditional Maori dance, disrupting the reading of a controversial bill. Guatemalan President Bernardo Arevalo reaffirmed his country's support for Taiwan while on a visit to Taipei. A 21-gun salute welcomed Arevalo's convoy in the capital. A judge in El Salvador ordered the provisional detention of prominent lawyer Ruth Lopez. He was arrested last month over allegations of embezzlement. Hundreds of elderly Argentinians gathered outside Congress to protest as lawmakers debated a bill aimed at increasing retirement benefits amid growing economic hardships faced by pensioners. The UK's medicine regulator warned against taking skinny jabs such as Ozempic and Wegovy to fight weight loss if trying to get pregnant or while breastfeeding because of their unknown effects on babies. The crew of a cargo ship carrying around 3,000 vehicles, including 800 electric vehicles, abandoned it off the coast of Alaska after a fire broke out on board. The Peruvian government extended the state of emergency and curfew in the province of Patas for 60 days, where 13 workers were murdered in May. Bolivia's armed forces have denied allegations of planning a coup against the government amid escalating nationwide unrest fueled by a fuel shortage crisis. Hundreds of bus drivers march in La Paz, protesting over acute fuel shortages which have created days-long queues at petrol stations across Bolivia. We are heading for a short break. We'll be back with Express News in just a bit. Stay tuned to DD India. Welcome back. You're watching Express News on DD India. Let's resume. Buildings have been ravaged by flames in Saskatchewan as wildfires sweeping across Western Canada continue to displace many and destroy property. In Canada, the blazes fueled by hot temperatures and high winds have scorched vast areas of forest and penetrated deep into several northern communities. Officials have confirmed that over 31,000 residents across West Canada and neighbouring provinces have been forced to evacuate since the fires intensified late last week. Dubai's outdoor tourist spots are growing quieter as temperatures across the UAE soar, marking the start of the country's sweltering summer season. The flood situation in India's northeastern Assam state has shown significant improvement, with floodwaters receding in many areas. Assam State Disaster Management Authority said floods have affected over 600,000 people in 21 districts of the state. In India's northeastern state of Sikkim, relief and rescue work is underway after heavy rains and landslides halted the efforts on Wednesday. The India Meteorological Department has issued yellow alerts for all northeastern states, predicting moderate rainfall for the next 7 days. Central India, including Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Vidarbha, is also expected to see light to moderate rainfall with thunderstorms, lightning and gusty winds till June the 8th. In Himachal Pradesh, thunder squall winds of 50 to 60 km per hour, reaching up to 70 km per hour, are anticipated. Thousands of Muslim pilgrims flock to Saudi Arabia's Mount Arafat, the climax of the Hajj pilgrimage. Over 110 newly unearthed artifacts from China's Shanxi province, including additional terracotta warriors and chariot horses, are on display at California's Bowers Museum. The multi-band all-sky aurora imager at China's Zhongshan station in Antarctica has recorded a splendid aurora activity caused by geomagnetic disturbances. Gamers in Japan finally got their hands on Nintendo's new Switch 2 console, which could score record early sales for the Japanese Super Mario creator. Featuring a bigger screen and more processing power, the device is an upgrade to the Switch, which became a global phenomenon with hit games such as Animal Crossing. Century-old buildings in Shanghai temporarily relocated in whole to accommodate underground construction and have been laid back on their original site by using over 400 carrying robots stepped in sync. An Indonesian formerly convicted bomb maker involved in the deadly 2002 Bali nightclub attacks has received a new lease of life by having his own coffee business. The Embassy of India in Ashgabat, in collaboration with the Ministry of Culture of Turkmenistan, successfully hosted a sold-out concert of Indian dance and music. World Environment Day is being observed across the globe. The theme for this year is Beat Plastic Pollution. On the occasion of World Environment Day, Kenya organized the first aerial arts competition. The event carries the message about climate change through choreographed routines. On World Environment Day 2025, renowned Indian sand artist Doordarshan Patnaik unveiled a striking art installation titled Beat Plastic Pollution at the iconic Puri beach in Odisha. Indian Army flagged off the motorcycle expedition Kumaon Quest on Thursday. The expedition aimed at engaging the youth, promoting women empowerment and border tourism in the Kumaon Hills. Passing out parade of the Ladakh Scouts was held in Leh on Thursday. The parade marks the entry of 194 well-trained Agniveer recruits into Ladakh Scouts Regiment as Agniveer soldiers. In Delhi, a significant congregation of monks, nuns, devotees and diplomats converged upon Sarnath's Mulaganda Kuti Vihar to offer prayers and pay homage to the sacred relics of Lord Buddha. People take a holy dip in the river Ganga on the occasion of Ganga Dashera today. It's a Hindu festival which celebrates the descent of Mother Ganges to earth. Hollywood's Bryce Dallas Howard and Orlando Bloom team up with the British actor Nick Mohammed in Deep Cover, a comedy about undercover improv comics. British actress and singer Cynthia Erivo will make her hosting debut at the Tony Awards, bringing fun, music and fashion to the iconic Radio City Music Hall stage. Documentary John Candy, I Like Me, directed by Colin Hanks and produced by Ryan Reynolds, will open the 50th Toronto International Film Festival. Hollywood star Nicole Kidman will lead Girls and Their Horses, a murder mystery coming to Prime Video. A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey, an upcoming American romantic fantasy film starring Margot Robbie and Colin Farrell, will hit Indian theatres on September 19th. Prime Video's hit series Maxton Hall returns with season 2 on November 7th. The new season is based on Save You, the second book in Mona Kasten's best-selling series. Morten Harket, lead singer of Norwegian pop band a-ha, has been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. Universal has released the trailer for Wicked for Good, an upcoming American musical fantasy film starring Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo. Filmmaker Anurag Basu and producer Bhushan Kumar reunite for the film Metro in Dino. The film is about modern love and messy lives. The film hits theatres on July the 4th. Bollywood superstar Amir Khan is joining hands with Tamil director Lokesh Kanagaraj for a new superhero film. Royal Challengers Bengaluru on Thursday announced a financial support of 1 million rupees to each of the 11 families of the deceased that lost their lives in the tragic stampede that occurred during RCB's victory celebration. Ben Stokes will lead England's 14-player squad for the first match of Test series against India, set to begin on June 20th in Leeds. The recreational drug which resulted in South Africa seamer Kagiso Rabada's 1-month suspension from cricket has been confirmed as cocaine by the South African Institute for Drug-Free Sport. Former Sri Lankan off-spinner Sachitra Senanayake has been indicted for attempting to lure a fellow player for match fixing during the 2020 Lanka Premier League. In French Open, Novak Djokovic kept up his quest for a record-breaking 25th Grand Slam title after beating third seed Alexander Zverev to set up semi-final clash against top seed Jannik Sinner. Jannik Sinner booked his spot in the last 4 with a straight sets win over Kazakh player Alexander Bublik, becoming the first Italian man to reach 6 Grand Slam semi-finals. Sara Irani and Andrea Vavasori of Italy secured a straight-set victory over Americans Taylor Townsend and Evan King to claim the French Open mixed doubles crown. In women's singles, Coco Gauff secured a spot in the semi-finals with a victory against fellow American Madison Keys. With just 2 more rounds to go in Norway's chess, India's D. Gukesh and compatriot Arjun Ergiasi are in contention for the title in a tournament which has never been won by an Indian. India's PV Sindhu bowed out of the Indonesia Open 2025 after losing to Thailand's P. Sochuwong in the round of 16 on Thursday. Cristiano Ronaldo scored the winner as Portugal fought back to beat Germany 2-1 on Wednesday and reach the UEFA Nations League final. Spain meet France in Stuttgart on Thursday for a place in the final, with the winners facing Portugal. Saudi Pro League side Al Hilal announced on Wednesday that Simone Inzaghi has been appointed the coach of Al Hilal. Brazil's new coach Carlo Ancelotti on Wednesday said that Brazil must help striker Vinicius Jr. rediscover the form he has shown at Real Madrid. And a Tri-Services circumnavigation sailing expedition team comprising 12 women officers returned back to India on Wednesday after completing a groundbreaking international voyage to Seychelles. So that's it in this edition of Express News. Thank you for tuning in. Namaskar.